There is so much to unpack in today's video. And so without, taking the pitch too far and sounding chilly or whatever, basically we're looking at the next Ethereum blockchain. And even more specifically, we're going to be diving into the next Uniswap. So imagine an opportunity to get into Ethereum earlier as well as Uniswap. There's a huge potential upside, but is the use case really there? What's the functionality? What makes this unique? Well, TLDR, it's a fast blockchain with cheap fees and a lot of different ways that you can earn money and deploy your capital and earn returns. Today, we're going to be reviewing Harmony and more specifically, OpenSwap. And if you don't know and you want a little bit of a bullish information, Harmony is basically putting $300 million into their ecosystem. And OpenSwap has an interesting background, and they seem to just be a down-to-earth team focused on the tech. You know what else is down-to-earth? This beautiful pup, our CIO, Chief Investment Officer here at VoskCoin, Tails, resident Shib. Make sure to slap that subscribe button. Today's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for OpenSwap for making it possible. Have you ever wanted to get into Bitcoin mining, but you don't know where to start? Well, we'd recommend our sponsor, Compass, who not only will connect you with mining farms and you can host Bitcoin miners there, but now they also sell Bitcoin miners that they'll ship directly to your house. Learn more about Compass with the link out in the video description below. As always, nothing in this video is financial advice, and I love cryptocurrency and I get excited about it. Okay, so ka-pink-ka-ching, we click over. Harmony, scaling cross-chain Ethereum applications. Harmony open, fast blockchain, mainnet runs Ethereum applications, DApps, 2-second transaction finality, and 1,000 times lower fees. $300 million on bounties, grants, and DAOs. Are you intrigued yet?
Are you not entertained?
Well, if you're not, well then I guess I'm just gonna keep going in the video. Specifically, we're gonna be focusing on OpenSwap, and an app like this is a great way to just really get a feel for a blockchain. My wallet's connected, I'm using Metamask, I've got my one loaded up, and you may be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, you think you're hitting the BitConnect guy, like you're sounding like Carlos Matos or whatever his name was. And
Hey, 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 hey.
And you may be thinking, how do we even get here? This tutorial guide will get you up to speed. I go through everything in very elaborate detail, so please check that out if you don't know what's going on. But I'll give you the quick run through. Okay, so we need to add Harmony, the Harmony mainnet, basically their blockchain, to Metamask. It's basically an EVM clone. It's compatible with Metamask is the short way. So what I do is I already have my Metamask set up. If you don't have Metamask set up, then you definitely need to go watch the video. But you install that, and I expand the view, and it brings me here. I click over to networks, and I add this information. I'll drop these links down in the video description below, but basically you just plug this stuff in. Then you also need to load the one token into your wallet. Just like you use Ethereum ETH on the Ethereum blockchain, well, you need the Harmony token here on the Harmony chain. So you could trade into Harmony on Binance.us, Binance.com, KuCoin, and Crypto.com. You could use all of these, including putting your boys' code in VoskCoin, get 25 bucks for free, and support the channel and withdraw all these things on the Harmony One mainnet. That's a super quick, abridged version of getting up to speed. And now let's go ahead and just slap through a couple of trades so you can see this in action. I've got Harmony One. Let's say I want to grab some OpenX tokens, right? So I've got one token. It'll get me this many OpenX coins. So I'll go ahead and confirm that transaction. You notice these transactions complete very quickly, which is awesome. Bam. Was that not quick? I didn't stage this, all right? I didn't shoot that scene 5 times. That was the first time, and if it wasn't quick, we were going to talk about it. I tell you what, though, explorer.harmony.one is letting me down. So let me punch in my address here. So basically, poor baller over here is complaining about the Block Explorer. And this has been my first bad experience here with the Harmony blockchain. You get the seal of approval. I am also having a poor experience with the Harmony Block Explorer. Sad face. But yeah, this is the first poor experience I've really had with this chain. And this is what's going on here is happening correctly, right? But I'm having a hard time accessing the associated data. Let's try again. All right, so when I'm finally loaded and I put the transaction ID over here, and I was able to get to the transaction, but basically this was my transaction fee. And this was to complete a decentralized trade. And, you know, we have main token to a token traded on top, which, you know, if you integrate a token. So if we want to break this down from a USD point of view, I traded $0.0004. Yep. Or a microcent. Basically, stupid fast, stupid cheap. That's cool. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And this is clearly a Uniswap, pancake swap, sushi swap style fork, right? And what's actually interesting about OpenSwap is that I'll click up here and I'll disconnect my wallet. Now that's disconnected, it shows you a little bit easier. They trade Harmony native tokens, Binance Smart Chain tokens, Ethereum Bridge tokens, Terra Chain tokens, Polygon Chain tokens. This is a cross-chain decentralized exchange. But the very interesting piece here, it's the Harmony focus, and that they launched their own token on the Harmony blockchain. I mean, that shows the clear allegiance, right? Is it not obvious to you? So another coin you'll see in here is Viper. So let's go ahead and grab a quick trade on that. You know, just run it through another trade, testing the functionality. We'll put one Harmony 1 token into it. Looks like the data is not populating, so let's go hit the oldest trick in the book. Let's refresh it. It's like turning it off and turning it back on again. This would be my second poor experience. But earlier I traded some peg tokens and that was easy. So this works, right? So trading on that front. All right, so that's interesting. You know, we can come back to that. It's an absolute breeze to go ahead and add liquidity. You know, you add liquidity, you get rewards for doing so. So let's say I want to add the max I can with the associated BUSD, which is, you know, the Binance dollar peg token traded here on the Harmony blockchain on this decentralized exchange, OpenSwap. And once you do that, you can bring your liquidity LP tokens over to the farm. I could jump into this farm with OpenX BUSD, and I could chase pretty crazy returns of 105%, right? And so I need to prove that they could spend my LP tokens here. I always pay attention, see what you're approving, but in that case, you know, it was just that associated LP token. These transactions really do complete so quickly. It's a really enjoyable experience. I'm spending near nothing on these fees as well. And, you know, as far as a potential upside, you know, Harmony, I think, you know, in the right environment and much more use, which creates demand, right? We could see a 5x or more. It's not a, you know, shilly price prediction and things like that, but it's a legitimate question of, you know, where do you think this token could go? What's the upside look like? One thing I do really like about OpenSwap is their dashboard feature right here. And it's nice, simple, it's easy to find. You see I've got a whopping $4 stake. My average APR is 93%. And I'm going to earn $2.40 over the next year. A key thing to take away on this is, like, that sounds like absolutely nothing. You know, over the next year I'm going to earn a McDouble or a McChicken, right? Because the dollar menu doesn't exist anymore, my friends. But if that was $30,000, $40,000 and I was earning $20,000, $30,000 over the next year, well, that would get your attention. And those percentages are the same. That's a real possibility. But understand that crypto is fun, it's exciting, and nothing is guaranteed, my friends. Let's test out their bridging functionality. So let me grab some BNB, and so I'll do Harmony. I'll swap some Harmony for a BNB, right? And let's say I want 0.01 or 0.01, and so that'll cost me 21 Harmony. To complete this, I'll go ahead and complete that swap. And now I have that BNB token. And what I'll do is I'll go over to the bridge and I'll bridge that from Harmony to the Binance Smart Chain. I'll bridge the max amount I have. You can see all of this is populating quickly. I've actually already done a test on this, so they're not going to ask me for additional approvals and things like that. Normally there's a couple approvals, basically giving them access to spend your BNB and so forth. But that's how easy and straightforward it is to bridge. And so let's see if I BEP 20 tokens. And here's another approval, burning the token here. Again, additional transaction fees, doing more things, looking at an internal transaction. You can see the Harmony bridge. So with the Harmony bridge earlier, I bridged 0.01 BNB and it made its way over to my wallet. You can see that this transaction just completed. Transaction fee associated with this was 42 cents. That transaction fee is dictated by the Binance Smart Chain, which is exponentially more expensive to use than Harmony. And Binance Smart Chain is exponentially cheaper than using the Ethereum blockchain. Pretty cool to have a functioning bridge like that. So what would $100 right now get you in OpenX? That would get you 311 tokens. This is always fun to look back on. We're gonna look back on this in a year. And look, I mean, $100 is gonna get you either 31 tokens or maybe 3,100. Time will tell. It's always a fun time in cryptocurrency. It's not all about the price, but when you do find out about things early and if they do take off, you always get that regret of why didn't I just throw a couple bucks at it? Could have been fun, huge returns, and above all, just having a stake in the ecosystem. So this is CoinGecko. A lot of metrics aren't tracked, unknown here. Per CoinGecko, $70,000 24-hour trading volume. But a key thing to note here is that they're only tracking Viper Swap, and on Viper Swap, well, that's not OpenSwap. So this is a different decentralized exchange that is trading OSwap. OSwap is the previous token for OpenSwap. So if we traded into this, we would get 2.24 OSwap. But that's not what we really want. We want the OpenX token. The OpenX token is going to come up with a different token tracker. So let's go ahead and trade into OpenX. You can see that we actually get more OpenX as opposed to OSwap in this situation. We're looking for the same token here. They have their V1 contract and they've migrated to their V2 contract. It just always increase our exposure here on the on these different chains. Let's go ahead and just grab one Viper token. You never know, potential future airdrops or airdrops from other tokens. When you're messing around with different decentralized exchanges, I personally always like to grab a couple tokens, do several trades, and just kind of get that exposure, right? So we went ahead and completed that trade for Viper, but let's recap a couple of things. So in talking with the team, in very elaborate detail. So two things that they changed. I didn't write this. This is their writing. Two things they changed from V1 to V2 are the dev compensation funds. It's now stretched to 10 years time instead of 5. They also changed the ticker from OSwap to OpenX to prevent confusion from the BSC OSwap. They submitted all the paperwork to change on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. They're just waiting for them to complete that. So a bit of an issue here, right? So you could see that CoinGecko did update OpenSwap token to OpenX and the ticker, but they seem to still be tracking the wrong token here on ViperSwap, because as you saw when I opened this directly, it brings me to the wrong token. Well, actually, in this example, it didn't even bring me to the token specifically, but in this example on the Gecko terminal, if I click it and open it, it does bring me to that direct OSwap token, which is outdated. And these are some key notes to make sure you're buying the right token if you want to get into this and get proper exposure, right? Because you don't want to be buying the old outdated token. Another thing to note with this change is that the developers of OpenSwap have no access to the funds on OpenSwap. If a swap goes wrong, how do you get your money back? If it's the code's fault and they messed up, that'll be paid out from the dev fund. So considering they're going to lose their dev fund if their code's not good, states it's in their best interest for it to be good. And the fun fact is that OpenX V2 has had to pay back $0, and they don't think anyone else in DeFi is attempting this, and that they claim to be the only rug-proof DEX in DeFi. I also know that some other people are trying to claim that. I think it's a fun and aggressive title, but it's going to be the first screenshot people pull up if they ever do get exploited or rugged or whatever. But obviously, I don't think that would be the case at all. We wouldn't be here making this video. If you're worried about that, we can check out their audit on their V2 contract. So a couple high severity issues came up in the OXGuard audit, but some pretty interesting information here. Update, the issue was fixed according to their recommendation. Update, the issue was fixed according to their recommendation. So OpenSwap V2 and their devs are understanding of these, results, and they have worked with OXGuard to enhance their contract and simply make it better and more secure and basically make it safer for their users. Here's something pretty cool though on this topic of talking with the team and one member in particular. So he chose Proof of Stake, Harmony, and OpenSwap, and it was kind of a cascade of events. So in 2019, it became evident that Ethereum in the future is moving on to something other than proof of work, proof of stake, proof of history, agent-centric model, whatever. So in doing research, he found 3 chains that sparked interest: Holochain, Solana, and Harmony. Solana and Harmony are very interesting chains. Solana has gained just huge movement forward this year and so much exposure, and rightfully so. It's crushing Ethereum as far as usability. And so basically he said that he knew Harmony and Solana were both special, medium term. Holochain seems a little way off. When the Holoport Nano becomes available, he thinks it could be more interesting. He interacted with the communities and leadership. 2 things became very apparent. The Harmony team and community that was probably all of 500 to 1,000 people then. Team communicated back an email, and he replied back within hours. Community super helpful. And basically he saw a culture that really liked and he vibed with. Right? Come from proof of work and ETH, felt like talking to a wall and making suggestions to make things better. And that's true. The Ethereum community, I think as a whole, especially outside of the mining community, is just nothing short of trash. It's an awful community, very arrogant, pompous, devs versus everyone else, stakers versus just investors versus everyone else. Especially just if you think of the Ethereum community, you think of classes and hierarchy, they put miners at the bottom, and it's the irony that they run the show there in a way. But hey, whatever, we're moving on. I dump my Ethereum all the time for better tokens like Solana. The technology felt really awesome. 8-second finality back then, he says. Everything just seemed to work. Between the community, leadership, and technology, he began to really buy into the culture and kinship. And the more he heard their leader speak, the more he felt like these were his people. Honestly, it's a pretty cool story, especially with his background in mining, that I, can really relate to. And I'm sure many subscribers on the VoskCoin YouTube channel can relate to as well. A lot of us have mined many coins over the years, including Ethereum, especially if it's even, the feels are even worse if you're a GPU miner. But we've hashed that story. See what I did there? So there's another key thing I want to bring up before we wrap up this, basically interesting and elaborate review, if I do say so myself. So OpenSwap has a validator node. They have their OpenXnode and also their validator nodes. The OpenSwap validator node earns 15% rewards. And then they have the OpenX node that earns 20% rewards. And this is very interesting, right? OpenXnode, 20%. These nodes earn returns, and you can delegate funds to them. And so we are exploring launching our own node that we'll be able to earn rewards on, and that you could delegate your funds to our node and get a piece of the pie. Our node becomes bigger and just has a bigger share in the ecosystem. You can see the lifetime rewards on this node approaching 300,000. What does that break down to? Well, that's just a cool $70,000. Would you like $70,000? Maybe a node's for you. But it's not that simple. There's work involved and risk exposure on the coin, but that risk can bring you up or take you down. So, hey, sometimes when you win big. But as always, not financial advice. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on here, and there's even more resources and documentation that we haven't even touched on in today's video, but I don't want to make this one too long. I want to make it as bite-sized as possible, considering that this is a big chunk to bite off. So I hope you enjoyed our review, overview, tutorial, kind of Harmony, but it's really focused here on OpenSwap and the OpenX token. If you did, please make sure to slap that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. What do you think about Harmony now? What do you think about OpenSwap? Is this interesting? Are you going to go ahead and fire up your Metamask and load Harmony and put some one in there and start messing around and farming on this chain? Or no? I want to know. Seriously, please let me know down below and help us fight all the scammers and spammers. It never stops. It's exhausting. But I appreciate everyone who sticks with us and tunes in every day to watch our videos. So sincerely, thank you, and I will see you tomorrow. Please be advised, there are scammers impersonating us on multiple platforms. I don't want your money, I just want you to smash that subscribe button. Everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only. That means it's not financial advice.
Yeah.